Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we have to talk about how customers are starting to take out ridiculously long loan terms just to afford brand new cars with the prices that they are at in today's market. Before we get in this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. Now, quickly to recap yesterday's video, I talked about how retail sales have been slowing down quite substantially with brand new cars, and this is for a number of factors. First off, new car prices are astronomically high. I've made several videos talking about how brand new cars are way more expensive compared to what they were historically when you compare the average new car price to what the average household here in the US is making. And on top of that, we're not really seeing a lot of discounts. There are still plenty of dealerships that have market adjustments over MSRP in brand new cars. And when it comes to manufacturers, well, there are some rebate programs with some manufacturers and there are some subvented rates, but for the most part, there's not a lot of incentives on the manufacturer side of things. And so we're in a market where new car prices are at all-time highs and we're not really seeing widespread discounts. And that's not to mention the fact that interest rates are extremely high compared to what the car market has experienced for like the last decade. The car market for the last decade has been used to interest rates in the 2 to maybe 5% range. And now with brand new cars, we're getting into the 7, 8, and depending on how your credit is, in the 10+% range in terms of APR. And so, you combine the higher interest rates plus the higher prices, and of course, people are gonna be pulling out of the market. But this obviously puts dealers and lenders in a position where they're going to have to get creative to put car deals together, and this is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. However, first off, before we dive into this whole 96-month loan situation, let's talk about why taking a loan out for 96 months is the dumbest thing that you could ever do. So I've got some numbers pulled up here, and this is based on the average price of a brand new car in today's market, which is about $50,000. Now, with these payments that I've drawn up, I'm assuming no fees, no sales tax, just to make the math simple. So if you take out an 84-month loan with an 8% interest rate, which I feel like is kind of generous in today's market, but let's say 84-month loan, 8% interest rate, $50,000 car, you are going to have a car payment of $779 per month. And over the course of that loan, you're going to pay over $15,000 in interest. That's an 84-month loan. Now, let's say that you somehow magically get the same exact interest rate on a 96-month loan, which is not going to happen, but let's just say that you do. Same exact situation, you're going to pay over $17,000, almost $18,000 in interest on the loan. So like $3,000 more in interest just to take out the loan for an extra few months. And on top of that, your monthly payment is less, but it's not as cheap as you'd think. It's, again, with the same interest rate, $706 per month. So you're saving yourself just over $70 per month in payment. However, we need to be more realistic. With a 96-month loan, the interest rate usually jumps up quite a bit. Now, I'm being very conservative with my interest rate difference. I'm putting the interest rate at 10% with this 96-month loan. That gives you a payment of $758 per month and an interest paid on that loan of over almost $23,000. So you're literally saving yourself from $779 to $758 to then pay thousands more in interest. And so as you can see with this conservative example, a 96-month loan makes no sense whatsoever. And when I've talked to dealers about real 96-month loans that they have had customers come and take out, they've told me that the payment is like even less than that in terms of the difference. Like they've had customers literally go from an 84-month loan to a 96-month loan just to save $5 to maybe $10 per month. And if the interest paid on this 96-month loan wasn't enough to scare you away, what you have to understand is that we are no longer in a euphoric car market where cars go up in value the second you drive them off the lot. If you buy a brand new car today, expect to lose a ton of money, just like what happened in the past when you buy a brand new car. So again, if we take our example of our $50,000 car, and let's say that you are like the average consumer that goes in, puts like no money down on the car, and so you finance tax, title, license, and then let's say the dealer throws in some extra packages, so you're financing $60,000 on this car. The second you drive that $50,000 car off the lot, it's probably worth about $40,000 on the wholesale market. Again, we're going through normal depreciation. So you'd be $20,000 upside down the second you drive off the lot. And again, if we go back to this example of this 96-month loan, well, let's say that you keep the car for 3 years, which is pretty standard. Like that's what most people will do, is they'll keep a car for 3 years and then they'll trade it in. And let's say that, again, let's not say that you're financing $60,000. Just say you finance $50,000 on this $50,000 car. Well, after 3 years, you're still going to owe over $40,000 on that car. And well, if you take a $50,000 car, the average $50,000 car, and you put it through normal depreciation, after 3 years, that car is probably going to be worth as a trade-in somewhere in the mid $20,000 range. And in a retail side of things, it's probably worth somewhere in the low $30,000 range. Again, normal depreciation. So you're still going to be over $15,000 to over $20,000 upside down. The point that you will most likely break even on this loan, again, it's going to depend vehicle to vehicle, is probably going to be year, I would say 6 or 7. At year 6, you're going to owe $23,000. At year 7, you're going to owe $16,000. And I mean, even that's a little bit positive thinking. Year 8, I think you would, depending on how many miles you put on the car, you'd for sure probably be breaking even at that point, because you'd owe $8,000 on the car. And I think that an 8-year-old car that was originally $50,000, average car, is probably going to be worth at least $8,000, a little bit more. But again, this just shows that 96-month loans make absolutely no sense, because you're paying tons of money in interest, and throughout pretty much the entirety of the auto loan, you're going to be upside down so much that if you want to get another car, you're either going to have to put a bunch of money down, or you're going to roll over a bunch of negative equity into the next car loan, and then you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're just going to have to be stuck with a car for the entire loan duration. You'll be one of those people that is married to their car because of how buried they are in it. Now that you know just how stupid a 96-month loan is on a car, we have to talk about why people are actually doing this. So again, we are experiencing an affordability crisis. New cars are the most expensive they have ever been, and interest rates aren't the highest that they've ever been, but they're definitely higher than what the car market is used to, especially over the course of the last decade. And you pair that with the fact that 85% of people that purchase a brand new car are payment buyers, because 85% of people that purchase a brand new car finance the car. They do not pay cash. And so I know that, people watching this video are going to be like, oh, you should always look at the out the door price, whether you pay cash or whether you finance a car. And you have to understand that that's not what the average consumer does. What the average consumer does is they go, I want this car and I want this payment per month. And so then the lending institution and the dealership go, well, that car costs that much, and if you want to get that payment, your loan has to be, well, this long, right? You guys probably can't see my arms all the way stretched up, but maybe I'll have to go back. Anyways, you guys get the point. But the good news that I do want to say is that most dealers and most lending institutions at least try to push people away from these longer terms. And I'd say dealers do a better job than lending institutions, because lending institutions just typically go, hey, here's what you're approved for, here are the different loans that you can take out, and that's pretty much how it works. Whereas dealerships, well, they want to sell customers as many cars as they can possibly manage. And if they put a customer in a 96-month loan, then they're not going to sell that customer another car until that 96-month loan is pretty much paid off. And so this is why dealers are actually incentivized to try to push customers away from these loans. But what dealers tell me is that customers that come in and talk about a 96-month loan, they're just dead set on it. Like they are married to the idea, which again, just blows my mind, because when I hear these stories of customers taking out a loan that is 12 months longer and has an interest rate that's several percent higher just to decrease their monthly payment by a few dollars per month, it's ridiculous. But it is what people are doing. And so it's too soon to tell how dire this situation is going to get, how many people are ultimately going to take out 96-month loans. But what I can tell you is that we are going back into a car market where 72 months is the norm for sure. 84 months is starting to be more of the norm than 72 months. And so then that is pushing us into a market where 96 months might start to be more of the norm. And I understand that modern cars, although they have a lot more computers and everything, on average are a lot more reliable compared to cars that were built 50 plus years ago on average. But still, there's a lot that can go wrong in a modern car. And, if someone still has a payment on a car and it's 8 years old and the car breaks down, are they still going to be making their payment on it? It's it's going to be interesting how this whole situation unfolds, but I don't think that this is good for lending institutions. I don't think this is good for dealerships, and I don't think this is good for customers because, well, I think this is going to cause lending institutions to experience more repossessions. I think this is going to put dealerships in a position where they're going to be making less profit and selling fewer cars because, again, if they have customers that have tons of negative equity, then for them to put car deals together, they're going to have to discount cars a massive amount just to put the car deal together. I've talked about this in prior videos where dealerships will literally have to put their car deal in a situation where they're making basically no money because the person is so upside down. Not because the person's a master negotiator, but because if they want that car deal, they're going to have to discount massively. So that's that part of it. And then obviously, it's hard for customers to come in and trade in and realize, oh, wow, I'm this much upside down. I might as well just keep my car and keep paying it down. And then obviously for customers, like, this isn't great. Like, you don't want to be in a situation. I don't think anyone wants to be in a situation where you basically own a car, right? The bank actually owns it, but you own a car and it's worth $20,000 and you have a loan on it for $40,000. Like, that feels absolutely horrible. And so it's something that I think that, if people are properly educated, it wouldn't happen nearly as often. And well, I want you guys to let me know what you think about this 96-month loan situation, and what would your advice be to someone that is considering taking out a 96-month loan? Like, how would you knock some sense into them? Anyways, I'll see you.